Hi gang, it is officially after midnight, so it is Christmas Eve, and I'm in my basement while my family's upstairs asleep, and that is the whole pack. The dogs are asleep, the wife's asleep, everybody's asleep. And I'm trying to get ahead on some video shooting that I have not done in a while, so here I am. So, for the past 2 Christmases, I've been trying to get a short done. This is not like me, you're trying to get a short done, I just can't get it done. But I'm holding real tight on this one. So, a couple of years ago for Halloween, I did Hey Doll, which was originally called Cat Callback, and Kill a Doll, and I wound up being the only actor in it. That script originally had an actress, and I just could not get anyone in there in time before Halloween to get it shot, and I rewrote it, and I shot it, and I think it turned out fairly funny and entertaining, but it's not clicking the way I want. And this whole thing is planned. There's a universe around that character, not the asshole guy, the doll. And I want to make a feature out of it. And to do the feature, I want to do a couple more shorts within that universe first that, kind of give an idea of what we're going for. And so I wrote another script for Christmas, and I'm having the same problem getting the right people on the right days to make it what I want. So during this last casting call, I had some really good people submit the same non-responsives for other people. But I want to, so these good people, I'm like, I don't want to make them wait another month, 2 months, and then possibly a year, because what happens is this is planned to shoot at my cabin, and my cabin, it's still available in the winter, but it basically goes dark. Very few people can go up there without four-wheel drive. They're not off as much. It's just not a place that people want to visit as much in the wintertime. So I can use it without cutting off the stream of income that it is the rest of the year. So it's better for me to shoot there in the winter, which is one of the reasons I wrote a Christmas script for it. But it also means if I don't get it shot by the end of February, beginning of March, I have to wait another year. So I did not want these cast members who showed determination and grit and to have to wait around while I get this thing recast with the other characters. And I also didn't want to scale down the movie I wrote again and not give it, the final screen thing that it deserves. So what I wound up doing was I asked the 2 actors who were really dedicated and locked on, I hope, because we still haven't shot, if they'd be interested in shooting a different script. And that idea also came to me while I was cleaning my office. If you were, again, look behind this camera, not my office, my studio. If you look behind this camera, it is a collection of props from other movies, from other projects, from things I haven't finished building to things I've built and never gotten to use. I'm only halfway through inventorying the props I have, and I have a whole other closet in there. So that said, I've got all these resources, and I'm like, you know what? Let me write a script that will do service with these 2 actors, that will be the right screen completed project with what I've got. I've got all these things, and so as many of you know, I've worked at the Halloween store the past 3 years now. And when it closes, I've got my discount. Things go 50% off. I can't help myself. I buy things. I buy things like, I could use this in a movie. I don't know what movie, but I could use this in a movie. And the original Hey Doll, the hammer is from that. A couple of other things snuck in there. I had the construction helmet from Jack vs. Lanterns that Jennifer Van Dien wore, Wagner at the time, wore for her character. And then the doll we bought for, I say $1 because we got her at the dollar store, but she was a 2-pack, so she was actually 50 cents. And we painted her and made her our own. And we're going to do it this time. I went through, I've got props that I got from across all 3 years, I think. I may have gotten 2 of them last year. But I've got the props. We're going to shoot at the same place, so these actors are going to feel for that. The script was written specifically for them. So the characters, they fit perfectly because it was written in reverse. I had the actors. I wrote the characters to fit them. And I think it's going to be pretty cool. And the voting online, on my Facebook page, we asked people whether they prefer small monsters or big monsters. It was always the plan to have both. But basically it's which one is going to get more screen time, the little monster or the big monster. And Little Monsters won. So Little is kind of relative term, right? This particular creature, for what it is still tremendous. But it's only about a foot long, so it can hide in places, creep around in the dark, be kind of spooky and scary like critters and gremlins. But for what it is, it's huge, and that, right there kind of makes it scary. So all that said, that is going to be my first film for 2020. And here's the thing. We are going to shoot shorts, maybe one feature, and episodes. We're going to count episodes, not little bloggy things like this, but anything fictional, we're going to count as a thing, as a part of this number. We're going to be involved with 20 projects in 2020. This is going to be one, and we're probably going to be lucky if we get it done in a month. That's going to average out to like just under 2 a month. And since I've only got one planned right now, it's going to be pretty tough. I may still shoot something later today for Christmas, as late as it is. We're going to use Crappy Krampus if we do, but it won't just be one of him sitting here like I am now talking. It might be a little bit of him just talking, but it'll be more than him. I'm hoping to bring back Johnny Pitchman, hoping to bring back Pratt, and Space Force is on its way back. The thing of it is, I still don't know whether it's fair to count, like, Space Force episodes are a minute, Pratt's episodes are usually 2 or 3. I don't think I can count each episode of all of those series as a whole film. So some of them, it might only be one, because like I'm probably going to do 6 to 8 of Space Force, 6 to 8 of Pratt. Johnny Pitchman is going to be a one-off, and then I'm working on a season of that, but that's going to depend on whether or not I get a troupe of actors I can work with this year. And I'm going to need about 8 people for that. But it's going to follow Johnny through a project from beginning to end, a product. It'll have a bunch of his other products in there, but him trying to develop the big idea. So, yeah, that's our plan for 2020, and if we can get the feature off the ground, everything else, so those are the comedies, everything else will involve monsters. Different kinds of monsters, different sizes monsters, and I want to do a giant monster film. I had some pretty big monsters. The Spiderhead that we shot back here in Lumber vs. Jack was pretty big. We've had a lot of man-sized monsters with the tree man, the pumpkin guy, the fish guy, all the pumpkin zombies. We do have a fairly sizable giant monster for a short amount of time in Jack vs. Lanterns. Trees are obviously big in themselves, but that was more of like an organism forest thing. We did have some miniature work in that suggested that the vines were tremendous. But I want a movie where the center of it is a 20 or 30 foot tall monster, at least, if not going kaiju big. I want to go at least Kong big, but maybe even bigger than that. That's why I was working with the helicopter stuff last year and city backgrounds and stuff like that. Unlike the amazing Thomas Brudzinski, I probably won't be doing a lot of miniature work because I'm just not. Miniature cities aren't my forte. I might build a couple of little set pieces or ask Thomas Galiba to do that for me because he is the expert at things like that my creatures can interact with directly. But for the most part, I'll be using my 2D kind of effects where I build things in Photoshop and my creature walks through them, sort of stuff. And we use the green screen for that. I know it's a bit of a digital cheat, but the way I do it is so close to optical. It's as close as I can do with equipment that's available now. I mean, there's not a lot of optical equipment left. The other thing I do want to try is to shoot on as many different cameras as possible this year. I've kept a lot of my old cameras as collectibles, and most of them worked when they were put away in the box. We'll see if they still do. And the editing will still probably wind up being digital, but I'll have to digitize everything front. So that's going to be. I don't think my VHS camera still works, but if my SVHS does, I'll be able to shoot on VHS if I can find tapes. And I think I can. So we're going to go back to VHS. Maybe some high 8. This little digital camera I use for this is HD, but it is definitely different than my other HD cameras. I still have HD tape. I have a mini DV, mini digital, mini DV camera that I might still have some tapes for. A lot of these, I don't know how to get the footage from them to the computer anymore because FireWire is like a thing of the past. So we'll see what I can figure out. High 8, digital 8, just a myriad of semi-modern stuff that came along after the digital age but has been outdated for a long time. We're going to see how much of that still works. I've also got equipment from the 60s that's not the cameras themselves, but they never really changed that bolt pattern on the bottom of that 1/4 inch 20. So I've got rigs and handles, and some of you have seen stuff like that in the behind the scenes stuff from Savage. You'll see it where I had a little gun grip from an original Super 8 camera that worked great with my digital Sony, my HD Sony. And so we'll be using some of those things, maybe getting 1 or 2 new cameras, using the GoPro like I go to a lot. But if anyone out there has something unusual that I can shoot on that still works, we would love to borrow it. Rent's not really a thing here. I might, because it's going to be enough. Like if somebody has a film camera that works, I'm going to try some of mine out and see if I can get them to work. But like the Super 8 film or the 8mm film or 16mm film, getting it processed and digitized is going to be right outside of my budget range already. And one of the things I'd really love to get my hands on, but I would only probably use it once or twice, so I'm reluctant to buy one, is one of those old Pick something cameras that were for kids that shot on an audio cassette. And I always wanted one as a kid. I never got to shoot on one. And the quality's probably terrible, but I want to try that. And I'm going to shoot on a bunch of phones. So anybody who has, I've only got Galaxies. I've got some HTCs, I've got an old Galaxy, I've got an array of phones. But anybody who has any iPhones that they want to let me use for a day or two, or they want to come out and do the camera work with for a short film, I would love to give that a shot too, and just basically what I want to do is get into the idea that that storytelling doesn't rely on equipment. Equipment's come so far now that everything looks okay. Some stuff looks excellent, some stuff looks, bottom line. But if you can get a picture and clean audio, you can tell your story. After that, it's just a matter of how great you can get your own vision into that cheap camera, into that phone, into that old piece of equipment. Sometimes the old piece of equipment fits your vision better if you're telling a period piece or whatever. Like if I do something on film, I'm going to want it to take place in the 70s if I can. So there's all that, and it's just a matter of I want to take this year to play with as many different forms of visual media as I can. So thanks for sticking around, guys. This went way longer than I expected. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.